Record. Okay, then welcome to the watch for the 1st of August 2017. Eric Woodson, not Eric Dempsey, Eric Woodson. I got it right this time. Yeah, I keep forgetting. I keep looking at the YouTube people, but you people are out there too. 706-940. Miss Pat, would you do a quick phone check? Make sure that phone's good.
Yeah, we do have to because we got we got the YouTube camera and we got the Facebook camera.
706-940-0542.
So.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, well, I thought it was 0541.
Are we 541 or 42 in this one? Well, here, I'll look.
We've been putting out 706-940-0541.
I've got it right here. It is actually the studio. It's 41. That's correct. It's 940-0541.
I win.
Too bad you were not in for a prize.
940-0541 out there. Hey, Stacy. I hope you're out there.
Stacy awake?
Stacy, are you awake? She shouldn't be. She's got to sleep.
She's part vampire.
She's got. I don't know. I don't think she sleeps. Bless her heart. I'll tell you, Stacy is amazing out there. But we got a lot. All of you 15,000 people out there are amazing, and then some on that. By the way, I like the new thing on there. You know, with the guy and the new thing. I don't get on social media very often. I like.
Oh yeah. And to George, if you're out there, look, we got to change up the banner from time to time. People just they get used to seeing one thing and they get tired of looking at it. So we got to change it up. So the most interesting man in the world, you can't go wrong with him. He's got another one out there that says, when I'm in Columbus, Georgia, I don't always carry a gun. Just kidding, I do.
So did you mean, of course, there's a new name for Columbus. You told me about it.
Killlumbus?
Killlumbus. K-I-L-L-O-U-M-B-U-S.
Killlumbus, Georgia.
Do you think I brought enough pens today? What do you think?
I think you're heavily pinned armed.
Yeah,
yes.
on that. I like that shirt, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of shirts, did you hear the rumor, which actually is fact?
I have heard a rumor.
About the watch and shirts.
Yeah.
Hats, yard signs, all of the above.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Working on it.
So
getting you.
If you want to support the page, which I might add, we're working on a shoestring budget. Stacy's working on, staying up, scanners. Some of the people that drive around and check out some of the stuff, the gasoline and stuff, never ask anybody for anything. So, and we're not really asking anybody for anything now. We're just saying in the future we're going to try and fund some of the stuff that we're doing here in the future. We're going to have some T-shirts to promote the page. We're being asked to do some yard signs, so that if you want to show that you're on the watch and stuff, we're working on the designs right now. There is even the idea, we've been approached to some people actually want to go out, and as these posts are being posted, they want to go on location live and film some of the stuff that's going on, okay? And there's no reason why we can't do it, because there is no special laws or regulations or any kind of the Pope blessing you off if you're a news person, okay? You just go to journalism school and stuff, and some TV station or media outlet hires you, okay? You have not been blessed or sprinkled with the holy water and stuff that make you some kind of reporter. We all have the same First Amendment rights to go out and cover stuff in public, okay? So we have some people now approaching us that we're going to talk about. We're in the talks right now that we'll go out and cover stuff live as it happens. I mean, it hits the page or we get a notification, they're going to be launching out to that location.
I'm very emotional about that.
And start filming and start telling you exactly what's going on as much as they can get, as close as they can get. So take like the thing in Columbus last week, when Whisperwood was burning down, or as I should say, some people call it Whisper Hood. Anyway, whatever the name that you want to, because I've lived in when it was both places. But things like that, breaking news. The next time that somebody wanders onto the rocks or something down there and falls in the river and is floating down the river or whatever, boom, somebody's going to be launching, possibly go down there and start telling you what's going on. Like last night, we had a citizen coming out of Opelika, observed a totally reckless white pickup truck going into Lee County. Car was all over the road, truck was all over the road. They followed it down towards the flea market and stuff like that. They called it in to Lee County. Lee County had people in the area. They got a car in behind. They confirmed that, yeah, this was an impaired driver. Surprise, surprise, when they turned on the blue lights, the car took off and didn't want to stop. Okay, so we had a chase going on. And we had people following it live, putting out reports and stuff. And to make a short story short, Lee County set up somewhere out there around the Opelika RV park, and they spike stripped it. And if they had not got it, Opelika was sitting down there at the city limits, just right down the road in Opelika, waiting for the vehicle to come to. But one of the tires went flat, and I guess the guy jumped out of the car and thought he was going to run away. And Lee County deputy said, "Oh no, you're coming with us." And here's the big catch. Here's the big punchline. The gentleman had warrants out of Phoenix City. Surprise, surprise. I guess we know why he didn't want to stop. Anyway, I believe that he went over for a nice breathalyzer test, the old Draeger. And even if Lee County was nice enough to let him out by now, guess what? There's a hold on him for Phoenix City, and he's going to be going down to see my buddies down at Russell County Sheriff's Department. I hope Sheriff Heath Taylor goes down and spends a little time with him. Like we all know that everybody that goes into Russell County, Heath Taylor comes down and talks to each and every one of those guys. Anyway, so yeah, T-shirts, yard signs, and I'm just going to give you a little heads up. In the future, if this live reporting takes off, part of that is you're probably going to see a little bit of advertising on the page. I'm sorry, but we've done this on no budget, out of our own pockets for so long that we just got to do something to work out some of this stuff. No media, no TV, no nothing, your cable bill, all that stuff. They don't give it, they just don't do it for free, okay? Now, if I hit the lottery tonight and win the 302 or whatever it is, the 320 million or whatever it is, I think it's like 303. If I win the lottery tonight, we'll be giving away free yard signs and free T-shirts, and you won't see any advertising on the page, okay? In fact, I just may build a TV station devoted to the watch. But anyway, first thing, I got to win the lottery. But so who's out there today? Let us know. Call in. The number is 706-940-0541. Tell us what you want to think about. We'll talk about. And I wanted to let you know that one of the topics we're going to be talking about is the Columbus mayor's ridiculous comments this week in the Ledger. And Dr. Joe's going to chime in this in just a second. But according to Mayor Tomlinson, the crime rate and the crime problem that we're experiencing right now, which she's always said is not that bad compared to other cities like, I've heard it compared to everything from Chicago to Savannah to Augusta, Atlanta, blah, blah, blah. But who cares what's going on in another city? We're talking about here in Columbus. What is normal for Columbus? And according to the mayor, it is the gun culture and people with guns that are committing all these crimes. That's why all the people are being murdered, because of guns and deadly weapons. Anything that you use, I could pick up a brick, and I guess a brick would be a deadly weapon if I killed somebody. But anyway, all these buzzwords, deadly weapons. Anyway, it's because of the gun culture and because people have guns that all these murders are taking place. And I've already brought this up in something a week or two ago, maybe longer. But I hate to tell the good mayor that, you've got a lot of retired veterans, a lot of active duty. You know what? And one of the things that they kind of like to do is shoot guns. We got a lot of guns. And I know a lot of gun owners. I know a lot of people with guns. And you know what? None of them are out robbing Circle K. None of them are carjacking anybody, and nobody is shooting their buddies and stuff for some reason. So this whole gun thing, this whole gun culture thing, it ain't working for me. It may work for some libtard or something out there that doesn't own a gun or has only seen guns on TV. But the mere fact that the population has guns is not why we have crime. Okay.
Well, getting to that,
wait, I got two others real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
The heat. My God, it's the summertime.
Oh, yeah.
And the heat is just driving people crazy. And they're going out and
wild people.
It's so hot today. No, actually, it's not. It's actually pretty nice today. But, a couple days ago, I was really thinking about getting an AR-15 and just going out and shooting the hell out of the neighborhood because it was hot. No, I stayed inside, turned up the air conditioner a little bit, and drank some Gatorade. And then last but not least, it's that going back to that risky behavior. And I just wanted to point out to the mayor, there's been some really bad examples of risky behavior, like going to Peachtree Mall. Risky behavior.
At 1:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
To get your hair done.
And
what in the heck was that woman thinking?
If you were, an elderly lady going to Peachtree to get your hair done, and you get out of your car, that's risky behavior right there. If you happen to be at Peachtree Mall, months ago, when that guy was shot right there in the entrance, I guess you were in the food court. Eating in the food court is risky behavior. Being down on Winton Road at the Walgreens in the afternoon is risky behavior. Last year,
living in your house,
is
risky behavior.
Yeah, for that guy. What's the neighborhood over there?
Momina Woods.
Yeah,
11 o'clock in the morning.
Mayor Tomlinson, get on there, get online in the watch page and watch the video of the guy and the 5 or 6 guys kicking in his door. Risky behavior because he's a homeowner. The lady last year at Outback, getting out in the evening to walk in and have dinner at Outback. Risky behavior. And I guess anything else like stopping at a gas station, going into a convenience store.
Well,
risky behavior.
You know what's interesting too? It's in that same explanation that our mayor gave on that. She said that she was actually, I got the impression she was saying that, hey, you know what? One thing we should think about is we don't have crime in any particular area in Columbus. We've got it all over Columbus. So that's kind of like, okay, it's a normal thing.
Does that make it better for everybody?
I guess it does. Yeah. So I guess she was saying that no matter where you are, let me tell you something too, people out there. We keep track of this stuff, and I can tell you right now, we have. Hello, Miss Pat. How are you? Miss Pat's out there. Let her say hi.
Hey, Miss Pat.
Hello.
You know what's amazing is, first of all, like I said, and we've talked about this shell game. That's what I call it, a shell game with crime.
I think we have Senator Josh McCoon tuning in today.
Senator McCoon, yes. Candidate for Secretary of State, state of Georgia.
Maybe he'll call in and tell us what his view of crime in Columbus is really. What is the cause?
706-940-0541. Senator McCoon.
I wonder if the senator owns a gun.
I know that he is a Second Amendment supporter,
okay.
And he is a good guy. And I tell you what, he's running for Secretary of State too. On that, but he is he's a conservative Republican. That should say it right there.
Good.
He's a Christian conservative Republican. And then some on that. But, our mayor came out, and said, let's see what Nia says. Nia says, people are just so ignorant when it comes to gun control. But if something bad happens, i.e. bad neighborhood, zombie apocalypse, blah, blah, you know that there will be knocking on their neighbor's door, begging for probably, which is, I'm going to say, more for more protection. This is absolutely, let me tell you something. I was just going to say it. I'm 55 years old. I grew up in the South. We've had guns in the South. My grandmother had a pistol in her purse on that. And let me tell you something.
Did she ever rob Circle K?
No, she never did.
Okay.
No, she never did. And you know what? I can tell you that when I was growing up as a kid, when I went to high school, I had a loaded 30-30 rifle and a loaded 12-gauge shotgun on a gun rack in my pickup.
That's back when you could go to high school with a gun.
On school property.
And sometime during the day of the school day, you hookied out and you went deer hunting. You know what? that was a way of life up in Virginia, West Virginia. Okay, you're lucky if you saw any of us the week or 2 or 3 of deer season. I mean, you know, the coaches and stuff, like, where are y'all at? Well, we haven't seen you for 2 weeks. Yeah, and you're not going to see us till we get a buck, you know. But now,
I always tell Eric, this is absolutely true story. I tell this to people. We used to, when I was a freshman, sophomore in high school, deer season was big. Like I said, it was a big thing. And on opening day, on the Friday of opening weekend of deer season, we would go, and at the end of the day, a bunch of us, you know, we had, you know, driven to school, and a bunch of us would get out, and we would open up our trunks, and we'd get our gear on, and we'd all, you know, get into one vehicle and leave our vehicles on the school lot, which was okay then too because it was safe. And part of that gear was our guns. And I can remember one time, it sounds like I'm being facetious, but I can actually remember one time standing there with a rifle in my hand, and the principal come walking out, and he goes, "Hey, come here for a minute." And I said, "Yes, sir." He goes, "Let me see that thing." And I started handing him. He goes, "Is that a 30-06? I've got a 270." You know, on that.
Yeah, but, times have changed.
But you know, gun culture. You know, I challenge these people to say this stuff. Where are the law-abiding citizens that are committing crimes with guns?
All these people that are supposedly committing these crimes, right? They all have legal gun permits, and they probably all bought their guns legally and have been checked. You know, they had background checks and all that stuff. Not okay. Most of this stuff we hear when it is reported and stuff, you usually hear something like this: this charge, and on top of those charges, he's being charged as a felon in possession of a firearm when he's not supposed to have one, right? Which should be like another 10 years on top of whatever he's doing. That should be a federal, at least another 10 years. So, anyway. Well, look, I just had an idea pop into my head. How are we sounding out there? Is the sound okay? Can somebody let us know, call in?
It sounded great.
And tell us, is the broadcast going okay? Because we're always, you know, we're on a delay here, so we're always kind of wondering if we're getting out to people.
I think
we're hearing this okay.
Yeah, we're doing good out there. And you know, I'm going to tell you something too. Thanks, Nia. Nia's also said people also playing a lot of video games for gun violence. I'm sorry, when I used to play duck hunt, you didn't see me go out and grab my dad's .45 and start shooting ducks at a lot of people. Cheryl says sounds good. Thank you, Cheryl. You know, again, this is it. This is called a rationalization. You know, and what you deserve out there, the public, and what we deserve is accurate information.
Yeah.
And you know, we've talked about this before, but I'm going to talk about it again for a second because it's important that people know. When we have politicians that come out and say things such as, you know, our crime is lower in 2015 than it was in 2012. Well, you know what? Let me tell you something about statistics, first of all. Statistics can be used any way you want them to be used. If we had one murder in Columbus, okay, one murder last year, ha ha ha. But if we had one murder, I could come back this year and I could say, and we had 2 this year, I could say, we had 2 murders. Yeah, it doesn't sound that bad, okay? I mean, it's pretty bad, but always murder's bad. But, all right, or I could come back and say this, which both are true statements. I could come back and someone say, we had a 100% increase in the number of homicides since last year. That's horrific, you know? So what politicians do is they play a shell game. And those of you who don't know what shell game, that's little shells where you have a little P under 3 of them and you move them around and you're fooling people to think it's under one when it's not under the other. What they quote all the time is they say, it's the Uniform Crime Report from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. That's right. That's the UCR. Well, let me tell you what the UCR is. The UCR is a report that's put out every year by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and it supposedly documents literally every crime that occurs in the United States of America, from Nanky-Poo all the way up. Not that it happens in Nanky-Poo, it's a wonderful place. From somebody that size all the way up to, you know, Chicago. It doesn't matter, and they put it in there. But let me tell you something. First of all, UCR crime report, and they use those, and that's what these politicians did. They came back and they said, according to the UCR report, in the crime in 2015 was lower than it was in 2012. Well, you know what? That's a shell game, and I'll tell you why. Number one, the Uniform Crime Report is the reporting to that is voluntary. It is not mandatory. There's not somebody who comes out here from the federal government and makes you give it. So what does that tell you? First of all, they take what you give them. Second of all, please check me out on these facts because I did. I called the FBI. That's who I called to talk to. The FBI only counts cleared crimes. And what that means is, from two former law enforcement officers, that means if in the Chattahoochee Valley area, let's say we had 500 home break-ins, which on the run code was, somebody broke in and stole stuff in there. It was home invasion, they stole stuff, whatever, all that kind of stuff like that. Okay, we had 500, let's say, last year. Well, to get cleared, it means that there has to be either an arrest made or dismissed that it never happened, but it has to be finalized and done. So if there were 50 of those 500 that were cleared, guess how many go down on the UCR reports? How many home invasions we had? 50, not 500, 50. So if the other, what about the other 450? Well, the way they say it is, hello, Ellen, how you doing? Hi, Cheryl, thank you. That the other 450 on there are not cleared, so technically they're innocent until proven guilty. So we really don't know what they are. So that's number one. So there's a lot of stuff that's not on there. Second of all, it also allows people, and I'm not saying that all officers do this, I'm not saying they do it here or anywhere else, but it does allow people can change the run codes on things. They can sit there and they can have a stack of domestic violence sheets this high, and they can say, oh, we're going to make those into disorderly conducts, and it goes down from here down here. And then finally, guess what? And here's the smoking gun, if you will, on this. Is guess what, Eric, is not included in the UCR report that they're talking about?
I don't know, Dr. Joe. What is it?
They don't put crimes committed by juveniles.
Oh, no.
Yes, that's right. So if a 16-year-old puts a pistol in your face and pistol whips you and steals your wallet and then jacks your car, that's not included in the report.
I saw a report, just speaking about that the other evening, I think it was in Columbus. Juvenile reported on a bicycle, I think it was over off of Old Casita Road, shot the windows or shot the front door to pieces over there at the dollar store, the Dollar General, and people saw him riding off, and I never did hear if he was ever caught or anything. But you got a juvenile just rides up on a bike, decides, hey, let me shoot the front door out.
Exactly, and see the whole point of the UCR, the Uniform Crime Report, is not to record who committed the crimes, and there is a section on that. But the major thing is how many crimes and what types of crimes were committed. So if a juvenile goes in and right now we have a just epidemic of juvenile crime. Our juvenile crime courts are overwhelmed. We probably have, in other words, we probably add at least as many. We had 2,000, these are actual numbers, 2,000 some odd felony cases in a year. You can add another 2,000 to that. So if the politicians had, how can I say this tactfully and correctly, the fortitude, I'll use it that way, the fortitude to add all of the crimes committed in the area on there in numbers, we're off the charts.
Yeah.
We're off the charts. And I'm going to tell you what, I don't know about you, I've called and talked to council members. I've called and you know what? I'm not getting any council member. I've not gotten one Columbus City council member, not one of them has disagreed with me that we have a very serious crime problem. What's unbelievable, did you just see there, what was it on WTVM? Had a special, what was it, 2 nights ago, about the origin and gangs in Columbus.
Yeah, but the thing about that story, Joe, they showed this special report at 11 o'clock at night. Okay,
Matthew, what crimes am I missing on that? I'm curious.
Do a lot of people? I mean, does a majority of the population stay up till 11 and watch the news, or do we catch the news like at 5:30, and 6 now, or do we catch the the stuff on the on social media or something? But I know very few people that are going to stay up and watch some kind of report unless they absolutely see it and it's really interesting to them. I did. I stayed and tried. No, actually, I think I missed it and then I caught it online. But it really didn't talk. I mean, it kind of said why we have gangs and why they kind of form and stuff. And, there's not enough hugging and loving going on in the homes and stuff to turn these kids around and stuff. I think it's not enough butt beating. But anyway, we have these kids that get into gangs, but there's nothing fighting back against them. And that's what we need. We need the citizens to come together and work with the police department and say, look, we got graffiti all over our neighborhood. Somebody's doing this. We've got people threatening us. We got guys riding around at night in cars and shooting into houses and stuff. We need to identify who's doing this, and we need to make the area, whether it be Columbus or Phoenix City, we need to make it unfriendly to gangbangers and stuff, and stop being so afraid of being politically correct that we're going to offend somebody or something, or somebody's going to cry racism or something. You know, if you're doing what we say you're doing, if you're wearing the shoes, then take responsibility. It's like this: if the shoe fits, wear it. You know, if you've got gangbangers in your neighborhood and you're looking the other way, then you're part of the problem. You know, if you're not calling the police up, or you're not working with people, or you're not, you know, if you got to send them secret messages written in lemon juice that, you know, and so they got to put it over a flame and read it, you know, you got to come up with some kind of code or something, or get somebody that will deliver the message to the police and tell them there's got to be a way to do it. Okay, you know, send them Morse code or something, but tell them you've got a problem. They can't help you if you don't come forward. And that is one thing that the mayor said that I can't fault. You have got to come forward and be counted. You have got to talk to the police and tell them what you know, because they can't do it all by themselves. Okay.
We had one person that just wrote in and said, "Not crimes. How it works slightly different. I'm not a politician and live what you're doing. And I guess it's probably like what you're doing, but reporting requirements UCR is slightly different than you explain. I'd love to know what." They're not, because we got that through the FBI. I went down to the FBI's office and talked to the FBI. I also have a copy of the UCR.
I know that you're telling the truth when you say that juvenile crime is not reported. I've been told that by officials too. Juvenile crime is not making the major report. But I wanted to get on to another thing. I talked to a.
It's in there. It's in a separate section, and they don't combine them together. Okay. That's what the problem is.
I talked to a local Columbus businessman that's been here for years, and he's also involved in politics and stuff. And he said, you know, $700,000 in crime prevention grants, supposedly, and hardly any of it is preventing anything, okay? I think the city council needs to a hard look at this money going into these programs and see what's actually fighting back against crime, okay? Now, I'm being facetious when I say this, but, you know, midnight underwater classes on basket weaving is not doing anything for crime, okay?
And by the way, thank you, Matthew, for trying to know that.
I think some money ought to be spent. If the police department doesn't have the time to do it and they don't have the manpower to do it, then let's get a civilian committee together and let's do neighborhood watch training on a serious basis. Let's teach people how to protect their homes, protect their neighborhoods, and work with police and tell them the information and train them. Just like we train out there at Fort Benning, we take a private off the street, a civilian, and we turn him into a military soldier, okay? Civilians can be trained how to observe and report and fight back and work with the police department. And the police department ought to be the ones reaching out there, grabbing people off the street and say, look, we want to come to your neighborhood and have a neighborhood watch meeting, you know. Well, they ought to be the ambassadors. They ought to be pushing this idea instead of civilians begging, please come do a meeting for us.
Education. And here's a good example. God bless this person. Good example. God bless this person. About, I don't know, it was about a month ago. Well, no, it was more than that. It was during the school year. It was towards the end of the school year. I live near one of the major high schools in Columbus, and I was going to work in the morning, and I work in the court system, and I was on the way, and I happened to see and I'm also a trained veteran police officer and deputy sheriff. I saw what appeared to be, which I think so, a individual walking towards one of the high schools, and he was wearing camouflage pants on the bottom, and he was talking on two cell phones, literally had one in each ear. Well, I called that in to the school because they have the security people there, and I put that we have a neighborhood that next door neighborhood watch, and I put that out, for people to be careful because we have a lot of burglaries that occur during the morning during that time, so to be careful. And I had somebody that wrote back to me and they said, I have a pair of camo pants, and that's a valid point. You're just why are you saying that's a, and again, that person was not aware of the fact that we have a gang in Columbus, a real gang, not 3 or 4 loosely associated juveniles on that, as some people call it, a nationally affiliated gang, which guess what they wear? They wear camouflage bottoms and white long sleeve thermal underwear shirts, believe it or not. That's their, and this is how this guy was wearing. And I knew that, being in law enforcement and in the court system.
Or you see the camouflage bandanas either around the head, around the arm, around the leg.
And actually, please check my facts on this. Call the school district if you don't believe what I'm saying to anybody out there. You'll find that it's so prevalent that the school district, the Muskogee County School District, of which I also sit on the SPLOST committee, has. And the reason I'm not saying that impression, I'm saying that I'm very familiar with things going on there, has banned anything that has camouflage on it. Backpacks, book packs, any type of coats, jackets, pants, bandanas, anything, because it's considered a gang color now. And another thing I had towards the end of the school year, I had a very dear friend. I hated it. That went to a local middle school. I just keep wanting to say junior high school. Went to a local middle school, and this was a Christian group that was getting bringing kids together for fellowship, and they took a picture of this, and it appeared in their Christian website that they had, and they saw me and they said, and remember I'm speaking, I am a veteran police officer and law enforcement officer, so I know what I'm talking about. And by the way, you can go on the internet and put in gang symbols and colors, and it'll give you all the different colors and the gang signs and all the different things that they do. I hated it, but I said, I said, you see that kid right there? And you see that kid right there? Do you see and I'm not going to do it. I said, do you see the signs they're flashing with their hand? That's Folk Nation. That's a gang. They were flashing a gang sign of that, which, matter of fact, to do that is a suspendable offense at the Civic County School District. And, they were that bold. But, gun culture, let's talk about gun culture for just a second. I know a local gun dealer that I've known since we were kids here in Columbus, Georgia, that told me that in the last 18 months, and this is a big gun dealer, so there's a lot of guns, that he legally sold to citizens, had sold more handguns in the last 18 months than in the previous 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
a lot of ladies are going out and buying guns for protection now. And with that, I wanted to transition over to something that's been going on here the last couple of days. People, they sometimes scoff at the page and stuff, and they scoff at the neighborhood watches and stuff, and they laugh, but they're not doing anything. They're just, they're not doing anything, but they laugh at what we're doing. So I just want to let some people know that it is making a difference. We had a lady that works over, I'm just going to say, a major military retail store that's over on Victor Drive, okay? And they had a person come in and kind of hang out and eventually get back into their administration offices, let's say a week ago. And when they used a person to distract one of the workers that were back there, a local lowlife or whatever went back and basically stole out of a purse all the money and stuff that he could get, and then left the premises. Well, this business has some pretty good cameras and stuff, and they got some shots of him. Well, that got put out on social media, and eventually it made its way to the Watch, and we started looking into it, and lo and behold, it made it to some other pages, and we had some Columbus police officers chime in, and we've come to find out this guy's making a regular habit of this. Okay, so that's going on. And, Columbus wants him. They got warrants out for him. Well, lo and behold, another lady on the page comes to the page and says, hey, I work over in Phoenix City, and just yesterday, can you help me? Just yesterday, I work over at a business out on 280 bypass, and we had this man come in, and you would never believe the business, and I'm not going to say the business because we want to protect their image and stuff. But this lady said the guy came in with the same excuses, oh, I'm waiting for my girlfriend, I got to talk to my girlfriend, I got to do this or whatever, and they allowed him to kind of hang around, but you'd never believe the business this was going on in. And sure thing, somebody got distracted. He got back into the offices and started going through the purses and stuff and stealing everything he can. But he got caught this time, seen, jumping into a car. The car took off, went back through Phoenix City, going to Columbus. And then the story gets better. He wasn't apprehended that day, but he's just, as of yesterday, I guess, he hit another business, an insurance business in North Columbus. So now there is an active bolo out for this guy. If you come to the page, you can get his name, you can get his picture. He has cut his hair real short. He's got a scar on the back of his head. Last seen riding around in a white late model, like a late 90s Mustang with a paper tag and a red racing stripe or some kind of stripe on the side of the Mustang. So if you happen to see this guy riding around with short hair, he tried to cut his hair and make himself look like a military guy to change his appearance. But we got his old pictures, we've got his news pictures. But I'm saying this is just one example of citizens on both sides of the river come together to share information and let people know that we got a lowlife taking advantage, and stealing in broad daylight in businesses that are open. So if you got a guy that comes in and gives you some sad story or something, white Caucasian, male, short haircut, late 20s to early 30s, got a scar in the middle of the back of his forehead, you probably want to be calling 911, whether you're in Phoenix City or Columbus, because he's wanted on both sides of the river now.
I want to say thank you, Matthew, for your comments. You're always welcome. We want to invite anybody and everybody to always
call in, Matthew. We got Miss Pat over here. She'll take your call in a heartbeat.
We're always welcome. We're here to learn and to share, and that's what we need to do. On that, getting back to what Eric was just saying is, and I was asked by this person not to say their names. I'm not going to, because I had, within the last 2 weeks, a very senior, just about as high as you can go, senior law enforcement department head, say this exact line. He said, quote, "It is a very dangerous time to be living in Columbus, Georgia right now." Now that is in direct, and this person was afraid if I said their name that the mayor would find that out. But these are the people that are on the street. God bless them, all the officers, public safety people.
You think flying monkeys would come after him?
Yeah, that's exactly it. But we have people that are standing there and they have gotten so brazen that that these are not people crawling around in the night like in the dark or in drug infested neighborhoods. These are people that are just out everywhere. I know of houses from Oakland Park to Green Island Hills that have had home invasions.
Phoenix City just lost a young man over there in Phoenix City. He was an athlete. His coaches talked about him on the news the other night, how he was, people were always joking around him and stuff. He was how to put it, he was a joy to be around and stuff, and he was probably going on to go to college somewhere, and somebody just shot him down in his neighborhood. They found him out in a field, and so far nobody's come forward that I know of to contribute any information as to what happened or why this happened. And if you live over there in that area of Phoenix City, up there off of off of 25th Street, up there above El Vaquero, and up there around 28th, 7th, 8th Avenue, 8th Street, something up in there. Somebody's got to know something. Somebody's got to know something.
Yeah, it's funny. I was watching Live PD on TV this last week. I used to not be able to watch it because it made me have unpleasant memories. But I was watching that. And of course, that's not indicative of too many things. But I did hear something, and I made a point to Miss Pat, pointing this out, is they were arresting vigil. We'll say that. And yeah, they said, "Hi Norma, thank you for joining us." And came in there and said, "Well, you're probably going to do 6 months for this." And you know what the guy said? He said, "You're not jail's on the bath." He goes, "I play a lot of cards, and hang out and stuff." And I'm going to tell you, it is a bad place. It's a horrible place. On that, but we don't have. I think it's a joke that we have the council, the mayor, whoever, to be out there talking about building a new government center. We can't even build a porta potty. We don't have enough money on that. We've got 142 police cars down from mechanical issues. Where I became a police officer in 1985, and we were 117 officers short, and we're still over 100 short now. And I don't blame the officers. The officers get the pay is ridiculous. The hours are ridiculous. The benefits are ridiculous. They're continually cut on that. But you got to ask yourself, and I got this is something you ask yourself: what do we want? I mean, there's a time when you get what you pay for, and I can tell you the vast majority of law enforcement officers are not in it for money. They're in it because they believe in what they're doing. And and the public safety officers. By the way, there's a new initiative. I don't know if you heard about this, Eric. It's going on in the state of Georgia. There's a lot of states that are doing this now that will allow public safety personnel, firemen, EMTs, to carry a weapon, a licensed weapon.
Well, they've been talking about. I think it's already law, but retired law enforcement supposedly can carry anywhere in the nation.
And that's so over. Here's one. We have a lot of these crazy laws that we go through, and one thing that I support Alabama, I salute Alabama on is Alabama. Somebody came out and said, "Hey, come to think of it, why is it that somebody would have to go and get a background check, which they should? I'm fine. I support that. I support that 100%. But get a background check and pay for it." And then go apply for a handgun license, a carry permit, and have to do another background check and another whole process again, and pay for it. It's called revenue. It's called people getting revenue, and doing this 2 and 3 and 4 times. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
Didn't we fight a battle of the war or something back about taxation without representation?
Yes, and see, and these are the things here that we have, and and also too, I was just telling Eric the other day. I don't know about you. I don't know about you all out there, but I've lived here all my life. All my life, and yes, all my life we've had lots and lots of guns. But I'll tell you what, not to the extent that. And it's not a gun culture. I told Eric I was in Sam's the other day getting some stuff for the restaurant, and in a period of about an hour and a half, I counted 7 people in an hour and a half that were, carrying, openly carrying handguns, and 98% of them were older people, retired people. And, people are scared. Let's see, it's Daisy just wrote in here.
Darcy.
I'm a youth here. Darcy, excuse me.
Is it Daisy?
Daisy, it is Daisy. I'm a youth here and just got a pistol permit. Scary stuff happening these days, and as a female who often will go places alone, I'm scared to go anywhere without one. We've got a call coming in here.
All right.
This family member will need to put on speaker, ask if we can put them on speaker, and if you can talk to them, if they want to go on speaker, then we put the microphone in. We got to come in here. Daisy, I agree. I've got a daughter, 3 grown sons, and a grown daughter, and 7 grandchildren. My mom, my own mother had heard about, I told this to Eric, had heard about the incident at Peachtree Mall at 1:30 where a lady had a pistol stuck in her face, and luckily the guy ran away. My mom had kind of, are we going to go on? Do we have something supposed to go on? Okay, and are they on speaker?
They're on hold right now.
Okay, we're going to get you set up here in just a second. We're having to get our phones set up here. We're getting higher tech by the month. I will say that. And I said, if we get some kind of a budget, we have nothing.
Yeah, right now, if our level of technology right now is, if you ever saw the beginning of the movie 2001: Space Odyssey,
we're at
we're the monkeys. We're the monkeys with the bones running around, hitting each other.
We're at 1903 space technology right now. We're on there going, and also too, with between Eric and I, a lot of this stuff we're like Like, Eric, guess what? I found if I push that button, we
Yeah,
can
what
hear
happens
better.
when we do this?
You know.
Are you there?
Let's see. We have. Hello. Hello. Miss Paxton, we're good.
Hello?
Hi,
Hey, yeah, welcome to the show. How are you doing? Thank you for calling in.
I'm doing great. How are you?
We're doing great. We're doing great. What you got for us today? Okay, I'm sorry. Pat, don't actually sit it on it. You got to, like, right up to it. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Say one more time.
I said I just was on Facebook because you guys were talking about kids permit to carry.
Oh, okay. Is this Stacy?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Daisy. Thank you for coming in. Congratulations on getting your permit.
Well, I got my permit because there's a lot of crazy stuff going on nowadays. And like I go places alone to the store and everywhere else, and it's kind of sad that it's gotten so crazy that I don't really feel safe and out with.
Yeah, Daisy, let me tell you something, and I'm not being funny. I don't feel safe going out to take my garbage at night out to my driveway, into my driveway at 9 o'clock. And that's a real statement. I mean, I actually put a pistol in my pocket walking out in my home to the curb out there because that is, especially a young person like you on that. What do you think is happening in America today? What's going on?
I don't know. It's just like people have gotten crazy. Like there's just so much evil.
You know,
I don't know how to say it.
well, it is. You know, Daisy, I can remember a time. When I was in law enforcement, which was many years ago. Do people get robbed? Do people get shot? Absolutely, but it was a rare thing. And we got people today that literally, and I'm not being funny because we follow this that are shooting people for $5. You know, and they'll take somebody's life for $5.
Well, Daisy,
Daisy.
Darcy, I can.
Daisy.
Sorry, Daisy. I can understand.
You talk to
I can understand that how you feel. I'm over 50 and I'm disabled and I'm scared that I'm going to get mugged or something because
You're a
I'm
target.
disabled. So I carry wherever I go, any time of the day or night, and if someone messes with me, they're not going to have a good outcome.
And another thing, before I got my permit, the Russell County Sheriff's Department has a lot of classes for. I took one specifically for women. It was a handgun safety class, and they, we went out there and we shot, and they, told us the difference between when we need to use it and when we don't, and they showed us, how to shoot, how to be safe with our weapons, and we came out of that class with a whole lot. And it's a free class, so for people that might be out here that don't know about that, that's a good thing to have.
Absolutely. We're very lucky about that. Sheriff Heath Taylor, Sheriff Jones out there. I don't know if Sheriff Jones has some programs, but Aaron Barrett.
Yeah, Sheriff Jones does have a program.
Marshall Countryman in Columbus, Georgia. I don't know if the police department does. I don't know if the sheriff's department does, but I know.
Jay Jones also teaches a course at Auburn University. Same thing, but just don't fall into the boat of taking one class and thinking that you're good for from now on. You got to keep practicing. If you can, go once or twice a month, or
Right.
as many.
I've been to the class before. I've gone to the class for repeat times. They have every first, I think it's either every first or second Saturday of the month. The range is open.
Yeah,
and
12,
there's and they have somebody out there that'll help you.
yeah, there's a
It's
big
about knowing the difference between when to use it and not being safe about it.
there's a big difference between being all relaxed and shooting a piece of paper and having somebody come after you and your life is in danger and stuff. So if you can, if it's within your power and you have somebody that's training you to see if you can put a little stress on yourself, before you shoot, maybe do 10 or 15 push-ups, 20 push-ups, or run 50 yards or 100 yards and come back to the firing line and get your heart rate up so that you can kind of simulate. And I know what I'm talking about. I trained soldiers for over 20 years. I know about combat-related training and stuff. And there's a big difference between, plinking cans and pulling that gun out and knowing it's for real.
Daisy, I think you'll be. I think you're going to kick out of this. Do you know who Samuel Colt was? Daisy.
Right.
Yeah, Samuel Colt was the guy who invented the revolver back in the early 1800s, and he had a very famous saying that he said, and I think you'll like this. He said, because up until that point, everybody had single-shot pistols, and he invented the revolver, and he said, "God created all men, and I made them equal."
Right.
I think that's it.
And then Gaston Glock, actually Garand came out with the 1911 and made us more equal.
And and for these ultra, hey Woody, how you doing? For these ultra left wingers too, Daisy, I always say there's a saying we had. I know Eric knows this very well in law enforcement. You know what it was when they say like, "Oh, you better be careful. You shoot somebody." Blah blah blah. We always said about that. Better tried by 12 than carried by 6.
Yeah. And there's another saying: when seconds count, the police are minutes away. So.
Yeah, and you've got to. We're back in a lot of ways to the frontier America, and it's the people. And I guarantee you, let me tell you something that it's just like this lady at Peachtree Mall. A guy came up and stuck a pistol in her face, and she hit her horn and started screaming and yelling and stuff like that. And he ran. I can tell you something. Criminals are basically cowards, and a lot of them, that's what they get off on is the control over people. And being able to be the big man or big woman on there that is, I've had, I guess it was about a year ago, Pat and I was at downtown at the McDonald's on, I still call it 4th Avenue, but Veterans Parkway. And I mean, we're talking about like 12 o'clock at lunchtime, and there was dozens and dozens of people around. And we'd actually got our order and was sitting in the lane getting ready to get back on the road. I had the window down with my arm out like this. And I had a guy, I just didn't see him. He came up from behind and actually grabbed my arm. And he said, "Hey, man, you got $5? And I said, "No, I don't." I said, take your hand off my arm." And he did take his arm off his hands. And he went, "Well, you got $5 and you're going to give it to me." And I took out my legally licensed pistol, my Smith & Wesson 642 38 revolver, and I set it on the console where he could see it. I didn't point it at him. I just set it on the console, and I put my hand on it and I said, "Hey, are we going to have a problem here?" And he looked down at that gun. He looked at me, looked at the gun, looked at me, looked at the gun, and he said, just backed off. And I called the police, and he got picked up. And guess what? Shockingly, he had already done 2. That's in the state of Georgia. That even without a weapon, that's called a strong arm robbery.
Daisy, what side of the river do you live on? Hello?
Yeah.
What side of the river do you live on?
What?
What side of the river do you live on? Do you live in Georgia or Alabama?
Alabama.
Alabama.
Okay. How did you hear about the watch page?
How did you hear about the watch page, Daisy?
Well, I go to Columbus, but I have a lot of family in Columbus, so I have a lot of family who are in the group, so
Okay.
I got involved.
Can you hear me okay? Or are you hearing my mic, or you're not picking me up?
I can hear you some. I can hear enough to tell what you're saying, but you sound kind of far away.
Okay. Well, maybe my
You got to
mic.
put that mic right up. We've got the
Anyway,
single directional mic.
We're just as big over in Alabama as we are in Columbus. In fact, I think we might have more people in Alabama.
The
But
big city and Columbus area kind of go
yeah.
hand in hand depending on what part you're in.
But if you would help us, with your friends and family, people at work, help us. We're spreading by word of mouth. So if you can help us do that, we sure appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And Daisy, before you go, you might want to sit in line for a minute with Miss Pat. You won't be on the radio or on the system here. Miss Pat is starting a female shooters group in the area. I'm just not really that's going to go shooting together and looking at things that can happen. You might want to get involved in that. There's no, it's just
Hey, if I identify as a female, can I go shoot too?
You sure?
I guess that was 2017.
That's right. Hey, if you're against crime, you're okay with me. I don't care what you're.
I'm old school. I'm not going that way. The direction.
I'm not. Daisy, thank you for calling in today.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
We appreciate your support.
All right, thank you.
Okay, and I'm gonna put Miss Pat's gonna be on the phone. You'll be talking to her. You won't be on the thing anymore. Thank you, Daisy. Just call it Woody. How you doing, man? I see you out there. Woody is one of our steadfast supporters of the Rangers Got a Country Show, the Watch.
I'm not seeing Woody. Where's Woody?
I see Woody over here because I invited him. I'm like,
oh, okay. On your all right.
On my phone. Just see, I did that on that. We've got a few minutes here. We can still go. We got a few minutes. But Eric, we got a lot of stuff going. This watch, and one thing that I wanted to chime in on, and I know that I know this guy a long time, and I've known him since he started.
Who you know?
Me.
Okay.
Eric Dempsey, right here.
Yeah.
And, that's a joke.
Eric number 2.
Yeah, Eric Dempsey will be right after the show on that. But you know what? The thing I want to say about Eric Woodson is that Eric Woodson is a combat veteran. He's retired master sergeant, right?
No,
retired sergeant.
Oh,
Retired something.
retired non-commissioned officer.
Retired non-commissioned officer. Thank you. All right. Okay. On that. I forgot.
Oh yeah.
And but the point is that and he's also a former law enforcement officer, and he's a dad, and he's been a husband and a community member, and
All around good guy.
that started this scene with nothing. Yeah, I literally have his first broadcast where he did a live YouTube or live Facebook video, and it was just him. And within like a day, we had like 20 people. So I'm just his sidekick on that. But I will tell you this as I wanted to emphasize we're going to start doing the T-shirts and the caps and the yard signs and stuff like that. And that's not to make him or anybody any money. That's to support this show. We need to get out there. We need to unite. We need to be out there. We need to tell our elected officials, hey, get going on this or fire some people and get some new people in.
Yeah, there's no reason why the suburbs of Columbus can't come together. There's no reason why Columbus can't come together with Phoenix City. Phoenix City with Fort Mitchell. Fort Mitchell with Auburn. Beauregard, Beulah, Opelika, Valley, Lynette. The backwaters going up 379, which everybody knows that there was a real bad accident the other night that was, people were talking about. And not in a bad way, just letting people know that there'd been a bad accident on 379 and we lost a good man in the community. And, everybody had nothing but praise and prayers and stuff for the poor man. It just shows you that, traffic and driving a car is risky business.
And we support asking questions. Yeah. It's like, Brother Matthew that called in here or typed in, they had some questions about the home crime. We support that. We want people to ask questions. We want to come together and get our knowledge together.
But the thing is, just like the story I told earlier, Joe, that if something happens up in Valley and it gets over to the backwaters, 279, 270, to, all these Lee roads, 379, or gets over into Salem, or gets over onto Highway 169 where there was an accident last night and it was reported that the bridge was blocked. People are talking and sharing information on these, and there's the individual pages, but we also have the big page so that we have an idea of what's going on. And even though some of this stuff is not being covered by the media is following us to see what we're talking about a lot of times, and nobody's going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you that.
As a fact, I know I always toot her horn, but I can tell you now. Correct me if I'm wrong with this. We have people like Stacy that literally there are people in law enforcement that have. I've been told by law enforcement officers that are in their car that have their cell phones on a mount up there, would have it on there. That working third shift that get it quicker from Stacy than they get it from the department.
Sometimes,
and that happens and stuff like that.
And
observe and report.
The thing is that the more we build our network, the more this page is going to grow, and we've got some big ideas for the future. And I'm telling you right now, this page will lead the way. It will be out in front.
Absolutely.
It will be doing cutting edge stuff, and other people can say that they do what we're going to be doing. Well, you know what? Try and keep up with us, okay? Because you're going to have to start working out to keep up with what we're going to be doing in the future.
We've got Nia just came in and she said, "Thank you for the shout out, guys. I live in Salem, Alabama, and feel that this issue on gun control and prevention needs to be more public. I'm a nurse at St. Francis, and sometimes it gets late when we leave, and people have been mugged in the parking lot."
Oh yeah,
It
it was about a year and a half ago. St. Francis had some pervert hanging out there trying to either talk to nurses or get into nurses' cars and stuff. You know, I heard about that in the parking deck, and then there was some attention spent on that. So I don't know if that got cleaned up. But ladies, anytime you're leaving late at night, I don't care if you're at Aflac, if you're at one of these Thesis, Synovus or something, and you're working these late hours or something, and you've got security, ask the security guards to walk you out to your car if you don't feel safe.
He ain't gonna do it, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna tell you also too that Eric is a professionally, let alone a retired NCO, but he's also a professionally NRA licensed trainer in handgun, rifle, shotgun. He is an expert in combat shooting and this type of stuff like that, and he does that. I mean, it's not free, but I mean, he does that. And so if you need, and he can get down with you and sit down with you on everything from what kind of a gun, do you need a gun, what kind you should get, which are big, because I'll tell you what, I never went that route, Eric, but I went many years ago when I was in college. I worked at a pawn shop selling guns, and I'd have people come in, and they'd say, "All right, give me one of them 44 Magnums with a 6-inch barrel," and it'd be a cannon, and then I would say, "Well, what are you going to do with this?"
I mean, everybody knows this. Don't let anybody sell you a 44 Magnum as your first gun to learn how to shoot. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
And you need somebody like Eric that can do. As a matter of fact, Eric taught Pat and I to do point shooting. Yeah. And it was great. What was it, 40 an hour on that? And
it all depends on how much time you want to spend on the range. I've spent the entire day with ladies out on the range.
So if you're out there listening, PM him, personal message Eric Woodson. You go to his site, Eric Woodson, and get in touch with him, and he can help you out on that.
We got to mention Mr. Otis and the Bleecker group out there in Bleecker Junction. All those fine people out there, Miss Elaine out there, 279 area, Concord Baptist Church area, Mr. Otis over there on 250, and all his followers in the Bleecker group. That is a group that has set the standard for years as to talking about what's going on in the community. And when they have a problem, buddy, some people stand up and they take care of the problem.
Absolutely. I want to say, and I want to give a shout out to what I call the Schaumburg Road Gang, because they're from Warm Springs Road to Hancock Road.
What kind of stuff? The Schaumburg Gang?
The Schaumburg Gang.
That's
us on that. There's about 10 neighborhoods from Warm Springs Road to Hancock Road. And we all have the next door neighbor, and we're on the watch. And we have really been working hard to get neighbors to watch neighbors. And let me tell you something, too. And we're going to go into the second one. Let me leave you all with this, something to think about. Is that years ago, on most police cars, it said emergency dial 911. Well, they took off the emergency. And it's still, if you call today, you call 911, they're going to say, Columbus 911, what's your emergency? But let me dispel something on that. And I know this is to be a fact, okay? It does not have to be an emergency. You can call your law enforcement people at 911 anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're not going to be mad. And you can simply say, "Hey, I live out here on Schaumburg Road, and I live at so-and-so address. I see there's a suspicious person. Would you send an officer out here to check it out?" And they're bleeding. I'm telling you, we're both cops. We don't pull up to that guy and go, who called? That guy right over there, Joe Coley. That's his address. That's his name.
Let's talk about another thing, too. You always see these things on the internet about all these numbers. If you think you're being pulled over by an unmarked car and you're not sure, call 212 or 122 or 999 or forget all that crap. Don't remember all those numbers because it's a bunch of internet garbage. All right, just call 911. Okay, in most places you're still going to get the same people, whether you call the non-emergency number or you call the emergency number. You're getting the same dispatchers. They're going to talk to you. It's going to be the same people in Russell County, the same people in Lee County. It's going to be the same people. Just call 911 and tell them what your problem is. And for these people, that if you think that an unmarked car is not really a cop, the obvious thing to do is to slow down. Go to a well-lit,
Where there's people?
well-frequented place, call dispatch and say, I'm not sure, can I have a marked car out here? I'm not sure I'm being pulled over by a legitimate police officer. Okay, don't jump out of the car with a gun or do anything stupid, okay? Stay in your car and follow the instructions to a point.
And if you have somebody knocking your door and they say that the police, call 911.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you.
That's another thing.
Call 911 and say, is there either 123 Housen Street? Are there police officers outside my door right now?
Yeah.
And they'll say, yes, there are. And by the way, here's a quick little tip that a lot of people. This is a neat little tip that people know. Under federal law, any cell phone, now listen to me now. Listen to me. Even if it has no service, no Verizon, Sprint, AT&T, whatever. If it is just a cell phone and it's powered and you can turn it on, okay? If you dial 911 on it, they will answer. They will answer. You do not have to have service on it.
But when you say service, you do have to have a signal.
Yeah, you have to have a signal of it coming on. They will answer. Okay. Also, too, guess what? Anywhere in the United States, if you dial, you say, what about if I'm in the middle of nowhere? Okay. Well, guess what? I'll tell you who's got the really powerful towers are the state patrols. And all you have to do in any state is star, and then whatever. For instance, in Georgia, it's star GSP, and that will connect you to the closest Georgia State Patrol post. If it's star Alabama, it's star ASP.
But couldn't you just dial 911 and say you want the state patrol?
Well, there are some 911 towers that are not as powerful as the GSP ones. Also, very important on this one. Guess what? Your taxes are on a separate system. So if you pull up a phone and you go, oh my God, I'm broken down here, or I've got the situation and I've got no service. I've got one bar and it won't answer on that. Your text is not under the same system as your phone. So many times when you cannot call, you can text. Yeah.
So how much time we got left there, Dr.
We're
Joe?
just about ready to close down.
Well, let me just say this real quick. Help us share the page. I don't care if you're in Salem, Bleecker, Auburn, Opelika, Valley, Columbus, Midland, Fortson. It doesn't matter. Green Island Hills. Help us share the page, because it's one thing. You've either been a victim or you will be a victim in the future. Help us spread the word. Help us fight back against this, because there's no 200 police officers coming tomorrow. Nobody wants their taxes raised. There is no magic bullet, and the only free thing that we've got is each other. Okay, your neighbors. Start in your home, start in your neighborhood, start in your cities.
Amen.
And let's start working together and spread the word.
Amen. For the 1st of August, 2017, on Tuesday here, Eric Whitson, the man, the watch, and I'm Joe Coley. And
all the people that are helping me to make this happen.
And thank you. God bless you. Keep up the good service, and we will see you again real soon. Appreciate it. Miss Pat, if you will take us out.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in. God bless. Coming up here in just a second, by the way, is on the Ray Joe's God and Country Show, Facebook Live, is Eric Dempsey, Eric number one on that, who's going to be doing the Eric Dempsey Resolution Fitness Hour. So stay with us on that. Go to that page. Thank you. See you soon. Bye-bye. Be safe.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.